Are you experiencing an inexplicable numbness or tingling in your feet? Do your legs feel heavy and your muscles weak when you try to stand up? Have you been struggling with type 2 diabetes or other nerve conditions, and not a day goes by without feeling a sharp pain through your hands and feet? Then your body is in urgent danger, and you absolutely must take the following quick nerve pain test to find out how serious the problem is. All you have to do is stand on one leg and slowly count up to 30. Then switch legs and repeat. According to the leading neuropathy experts from Johns Hopkins University, if you are unable to complete this simple test, or if you start feeling any symptoms of nerve pain, there's something deeply disturbing and life-threatening happening inside your body right now, and you need to take immediate action. Please stick with me for the next 10 minutes to discover what you need to do today to finally stop the progression of neuropathy and trigger the complete regeneration of your nervous and muscular system. It's a cheap, natural mix that's making any modern medicine essentially useless and driving big pharma insane, as anyone can do it at home for just a couple of cents per day. And it's so powerful that it can literally erase months or even years of neuropathy, permanently releasing your nerves from the shackles they've been stuck into for so long, significantly decreasing the risk of lifelong pain and even paralysis. The strength of this remedy is currently being confirmed by a growing number of studies from the top international institutions, such as the CDC, Oxford University, and the American Medical Institute. The best part, you can use it too, starting today. It's simple and only takes a few seconds of your time. In fact, this all-natural neuropathic remedy has already provided freedom and relief to a growing number of more than 47,896 people worldwide. How do I know all of this? Well, after years of suffering, I finally managed to free myself from neuropathy and live a normal life once again in just a few short weeks. Hi, my name is Kevin Miller, and the incredible story you're about to hear is 100% true. In the following 5 minutes, I'll show you where this hellish, muscle-twisting, bone-crushing pain really comes from. Why, as a type 2 diabetic with neuropathy, cutting sugar from my diet was a capital mistake. And why neuropathy has absolutely nothing to do with genetics or your pre-existing conditions, and is instead caused by a hidden muscle in your spine that no doctor talks about. Ignored, the seemingly innocent tickling, pinching, and pricking you may have felt in your arms, hands, legs, and toes might suddenly turn into debilitating, painful episodes. But listen, no matter how many solutions you've tried and failed, or for how long you've been suffering, and no matter if every single doctor you've seen has crushed your hopes by saying you're bound to live with this gut-wrenching, torturous pain for the rest of your life, know there is an inexpensive method that has been repeatedly proven to work, regardless of your age or the severity of your disease. Yes, I know how unbelievable this sounds, especially if you've been suffering from neuropathy, thinking there's no escape whatsoever. Just close your eyes and imagine no more piercing and stabbing, no more crawling sensations and cramps that wake you up at night, no more feeling like a burden to your loved ones, frustrated that they're not able to help you, not having to fuss about your blood sugar levels every day, fearing the slightest change would bring waves of terrible pain. And instead, you'll enjoy a normal life where you can walk barefoot in the grass or sand with no pain whatsoever, while finally getting a good night's sleep, no longer waking up with foot pain, and instead enjoying your every morning because you'll be waking up happy and full of energy. My solution will be giving you lasting relief and well-deserved comfort for the first time in months, if not years. So you could get back to your friends, family, and the hobbies you've been itching to experience again. I promise that if you stay with me until the very end, you will regain your social life, finally being able to relax and go out with your friends and family. Just take a look at what some of the people who tried out this method had to say.
My husband is on his feet 10 hours a day, And when he got home after work, he would often have to sit and lift up his legs to ease the terrible nerve pain. But since he's been using your method, he has finally found relief, and now he can be on his feet while we go grocery shopping or running errands. And he's been doing this for the past 6 months, and it has worked wonders for his leg pain. He can now even sleep through the night without experiencing discomfort in his legs. I would highly recommend this method.
4 years ago, I started having frozen feet. Whenever I sat down, it just started out of the blue. I went through several painful EMGs as I went to various specialists, trying to find the cause. 6 months ago, I came across your presentation. Never heard of anything like this before, so I figured I might as well give it a try. Long story short, I no longer have frozen feet. I'm so glad I tried your method.
At 35, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and a few years later, neuropathy. I remember the pain was so bad at some point that I could barely even stand up or walk. I felt like constantly had boiling water pouring over my feet. It even kept me up at night, and at some point, I even considered amputation. But after I stumbled across your video, I decided to try your method, and God, I'm glad I did. The pain is gone now, and it's completely gone, and I can finally live again. Thank you, Kevin.
Now, if you've suffered from neuropathic pain for any length of time, I'm sure you're curious to find out all about this groundbreaking, inexpensive method. So let's not waste any more time. I want you to know who I am, how the actual root cause of neuropathy was discovered in one of Da Vinci's secret notebooks, and how exactly it will help you finally achieve the painless life you deserve in less than a few short weeks from today. So, as you know, my name is Kevin Miller. I'm 57 years old, and I live in a small town near Boston, Massachusetts. I've been a medicinal chemist at one of the biggest U.S. universities for over 25 years now. In my day-to-day job, I study and assess every single compound in a potential new drug and decide how safe it is for you. That's why I often get to meet and assist hundreds of brilliant doctors, students, and alternative medicine experts in their research. Not only that, but I've single-handedly been responsible for a few medical breakthroughs and seen life-changing treatments take birth. I'm proud to say that I've been on the team who researched and created Rybelsus, a new breakthrough type of treatment for type 2 diabetes with amazing results. But of course, nothing compares to the neuropathy remedy I'm about to reveal to you. It all began 6.5 years ago when I went in for a routine checkup with my GP, who confirmed that I had type 2 diabetes. It was depressing at first, especially because I had to follow a strict diet. After about 4 years, though, I got used to it. I learned slowly what I could eat and what medication was best for me. If there even is such a thing, I was a lucky type 2 diabetic. That is, until one Sunday afternoon, while I was drinking my coffee in the kitchen. A horrible, throbbing pain hit me like a full-speed truck. I grabbed my leg in disbelief, but the pain was burning through my nerves straight to my spine. My wife rushed me to the hospital, and after 2 excruciating hours in the waiting room, a doctor finally saw me. I had to take an EMG, along with blood work and a couple of skin biopsies, and finally, the result was in front of my eyes. Neuropathy. I left with a bag full of pills and creams that were supposed to help me when I had an episode. Problem was, the pain would never leave me. I kind of learned how to walk on the sides of my feet because the smallest pebble felt like a dagger piercing straight through my foot, which is why I had to switch to wearing Crocs and socks way before my time. Standing up suddenly was also a gamble. I fell in the past year more than I had ever fallen in my childhood. The pain was always stabbing at my legs and hands, but walking or standing for more than 5 minutes at a time would trigger a pain equal to having my legs crushed by a 2-ton tractor. Often, I'd wake up with no feeling in one hand, so I'd have to be careful which one I used to switch my phone alarm off. It was harder and harder to live day to day without the help of my wife or colleagues, and things only got worse. Besides the fatigue and terrible weight loss caused by my type 2 diabetes, I now had to deal with my arms and legs being constantly stabbed with needles every time I moved them. I couldn't get out of bed because I would cry like a baby every time the soles of my feet would even touch the ground. Unfortunately, tramadol didn't really help either. Sure, it took away the pain for a couple of hours, but it eventually came back with a vengeance. I had to take even more pills to barely even feel human. So I went to the garage hoping that if I did some woodwork, I would forget the pain. I would often do that because I went slowly from sleeping 8 hours a night like an infant to barely getting 3 hours straight of shut-eye without waking up in agony. I told myself to just think positively. Just ignore it. Be a man. But it only got worse. That's when my hell began. For 16 straight days, I could no longer get out of bed because of the pain. It felt like my hands and feet caught fire and I was a burn victim, confined to my bed. Day after day, even the feeling of the bed sheets on my legs felt like torture. Not to mention that my wife had to struggle lifting me to the edge of the bed while my 2 sons had to carry me to the toilet like I was a 100-year-old man. That's when it hit me. What's worse than being a burden to your family? To them, I was a vegetable, incapable of wiping myself. I felt the worst I had ever felt in my entire life. Do you know how it feels to be looked upon with pity? Even though you know you could do everything if the damn pain would just stop. At that time, I was far from not feeling anything. Each touch and sensation was excruciating. I knew I had no time to wallow in my misery. I had to pick myself up by the bootstraps and push through. By day, I would be at the university, popping pill after pill, trying to not shed tears of pain like a baby. And any free time I had was spent in the hospital. And by night, I would twist and turn in my bed, crying to myself and wishing it would all stop. In my darkest moments, I even prayed for death. I was so desperate, I tried everything. And before telling you the one method that worked, I can tell you about the ones that absolutely did nothing for me. Massage was expensive and debilitatingly painful. It was relieving for a short period of time, but the effects never lasted. Pain, medication, and sleep drugs to calm me down before bed, which don't get to the root of the problem, just zone you out. That is, if they haven't stopped working for you yet. Herbal remedies, acupuncture, meditation, fine, harmless, and even cheap, but they could barely calm down the ravagingly painful stabs. And then there are the horrible opioids, which actually worked for a while, but I had to keep taking them every couple of hours just to barely feel human. And I won't even mention the terrible skin itching they caused and the extreme mood swings. I felt like a junkie. I was so desperate to hear a solution or an answer that I would have even accepted that I am crazy and the pain is in my head. Blood tests, pricking, prodding, and 2 nerve biopsies later, doctors would still say there was nothing they could do. I was a 6-foot man who had to hold on to rails and walk near walls just in case he'd have to hold on to something if the pain became worse. The stress from work and the constant pain was getting to me. The fact that nothing and no one could help me filled me with anguish. I could barely work or even focus while my wife or kids were talking to me. My colleagues and friends didn't understand me as they couldn't physically see what I was battling every single second with this beast inside me, eating away at my nerves. My wife was terrified as I had started waking up from my sleep in horrible pain, screaming in the dead of night more and more often. And no matter how rational I tried to be, I made the most horrible choice. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, I reached a chilling conclusion. I could either kill myself and end it for both myself and them, or I could cut off my legs or wound them so badly that they would just have to hack them off in the hospital. Even though I knew I would crush my family and destroy their image of me. But I started planning. I made my way to the garage where I had all of my tools, and I carefully picked the electric saw. It's embarrassing, I know, but you've never seen your craziest side until you've got a 24/7 pain running rampant through your legs, no matter what you do. But staring down at the object that would end my normal life I had been blessed to have until then, I felt like I was at the end of my rope. There was no cure for this illness. I was cursed to live in pain for the rest of my life, to be a burden to my family and the butt of the jokes at the university. I tried to cope, I really did, but I was so defeated and I didn't know where to turn. So one fateful morning, I made sure my wife was not home, and I slowly got to the garage, taking out my weapon of choice. I turned up the volume on the radio because I didn't want someone to hear me screaming, and I switched on the saw. But just as I was closing in on the leg, ready to carve it, my worst fear manifested before my eyes. My poor, terrified wife was screaming and desperately struggled to grab the saw from my hands. I simply could not allow that. She had no idea what she was doing to me if I stopped now. My goal was getting rid of my legs, not getting 5 stitches and an antibiotic. So, of course, I fought back when she tried to prying my only hope for relief out of my hands. I accidentally hit her with the blade of the saw on her right cheek. Her look at that moment, I will never forget. Next thing I remember is waking up in the psychiatric ward. I felt like the lowest human alive, for better or worse, as we swore on our wedding day. 32 years ago, my wife and I stuck together, but I felt she lost something. Maybe trust, maybe respect, maybe even love. I was stressed beyond imagination. I was discharged from the hospital 2 weeks later, and because she didn't file a complaint against me, I was free, but never to this day free of guilt for doing that to my wife. After 1 month on leave, I had to return to the university, but now my pain was getting worse and I was scared to walk around without some kind of aid. So going back to work was a new trauma altogether. I had 5 pain pill brands in my bag at all times, and I had to take them in turns to make it through 8 hours in the lab. And don't imagine the pain would ever go away. It was just less, enough for me to follow simple conversations. But even those were rare because I had slowly become the outcast of the university world. But my nightmare was soon about to end. Dr. Mason was one of the most prestigious and admired researchers at the university, considered the Albert Einstein of neurological understanding. He was so brilliant, people couldn't help but admire. You see, he was one of the leading neuroscientists of the university and a 3 times winner of the Fens Award, which is like the Oscars of neurology. Not only that, but rumor had it that he was actually the brilliant mind behind one of the most prescribed medications for neuropathic pain, duloxetine. When he stopped me one day in the university hallways, I had to look left and right just to make sure he was talking to me. He said he heard about my story and thought he could help. He was working on an experimental study and he needed someone to become his test subject. He told me that the study will be kept under wraps for now, for reasons I will explain to you in just a few moments. I don't think I can do it. I'm in too much pain, Dr. Mason. I'm scared we'll make it worse, I said. I explained to him everything. He came over that evening and went through all of my tests and results. Kevin, I think you need to hear this. And boy, was he right. Because what he revealed next left me in complete shock. And please listen carefully to what I'm about to say, because it's a matter of life and death. First, what you need to understand is that, as the doctor explained it to me, neuropathy is not a damaged nerve disease or a bacterial infection, as it was rumored a few years ago, but a symptom of a hidden condition. You see, This is a very well-known hypothesis. For years now, researchers have been suspecting that neuropathy has a different root cause. But most doctors are not even up to date with the latest research in the field and still believe neuropathy is caused by damaged nerves. But what is it? Where does the pain come from, doctor? I asked like a starry-eyed teenager. I don't have all the answers now, but I am confident I'm very close to a breakthrough here, Kevin. I'll show you my research later. I was intrigued by his discovery. I couldn't wait to get some relief, and if I could actively participate in that, I would definitely not complain. Since the incident, the pain felt worse at times. I'd feel both needles and knife blades going straight through the soles of my feet, all at the same time. Plus, my mood was absolutely unbearable. I yelled at everyone and everything. But as it turns out, I was no longer going to allow myself to be a victim anymore, because Dr. Mason finally confirmed that he found the one thing that would end up giving me and over 47,896 other people their life back. He walked into my office and opened up a book to this drawing by Leonardo da Vinci. Do you know that the first cases of neuropathy date all the way back to the 16th century? And before I could reply, he continued, some studies show how Da Vinci himself suffered from this illness, and because it impaired his work, he tried to get rid of it. He went on to tell me how a few uncompleted manuscripts mentioned a muscle called the psoas that wraps around the human spine. Now, I know you may be thinking, why do I need to know that? Well, your spine is connected directly to the brain, and it's full of nervous endings, which in turn ramify to every part of your body, up to the fingertips. That is why the brain doctor is the one treating neuropathy and not a podiatrist. Your spine is the most sensitive part of your body. Any trauma to the spine can cut off communication between the brain and the limb it connects to, which would result in you simply losing feeling and control of your legs or hands. But here's what he had discovered: a muscle that Da Vinci clearly indicated as being crucial when it comes to neuropathy. The psoas muscle is the one without which you could not even support your body to get out of bed in the morning. So even though it's tempting to look at the nerves themselves, doctors should be looking at this muscle. Imagine the psoas muscle as a ring. All your nerves pass through this ring, and if the muscle gets tense, it will smother the nerves to death. But they don't go out without a fight. The nerves are desperately screaming for help, trying to plead with your brain for relief. But the psoas tightens the death grip harder and harder by the day, causing unbearable pain to you. But now you may ask yourself, what causes the psoas to tense up? The answer is both simple and complicated: your diet. Muscles, just like any other part of your body, need certain nutrients to develop and thrive: water, protein, carbs, vitamins, minerals, and sugars. That's right, your muscles actually need certain levels of sugar to stay healthy. In fact, a team of scientists from the University of Bath's Department of Health has recently discovered that sugar is actually an essential element in muscle growth. Yes, sugar, the very thing we diabetics are told to avoid like the plague. By cutting off sugars along with carbs and other proteins, you're essentially starving the psoas muscle, forcing it to take its food from other places. And it starts with your nerves because they're the closest resource it has. That's when you first start noticing the tingling in your feet or the slight numbness that will turn into full-fledged, excruciating pain once the psoas is finished munching on your nerves. And because it doesn't have any more nerve food to consume, the psoas starts shrinking to save up whatever fuel it has left. Remember the ring comparison? Well, that's exactly what happens during stage 4 neuropathy. The muscle tightens so much it starts suffocating the already weakened nerves. By now, I'm sure you're very conflicted, as this doesn't sound right at all. I mean, if you stay away from sugars and everything else you've avoided, the pain will get worse. But if you add them to your diet again, the type 2 diabetes will wreck your body. And that's fine. I was as confused as you are. But luckily, there is a solution for this. Something localized that will only target the psoas muscle. As I've already told you, the psoas is the deepest muscle in your body. So no pain medicine ever reaches it, and no cream or topical treatment or massage could ever relax it. I was about to discover how to get to this muscle, but I feel like I hit a wall, Dr. Mason said. I think 2 pairs of eyes are better here than 1. So we continued from where he left off, sifting through hundreds of studies to find out how to reach the psoas muscle. Regular medicine can't reach it either because they're not designed to. There's no neuropathic pill on the market that specifically addresses the psoas muscle. And because it is your deepest muscle, normal exercises such as stretching, which in normal cases would work, do not relax the psoas and can even cause tears in it if you don't know what you're doing. Imagine that now your psoas is tense because it's hungry, and your hands and feet are like crippled with pain. So how bad would it feel when your psoas is actually physically torn, as if you shredded it with a fork? Even though I had absolutely no idea I had come this far, and I wasn't going to let anything stop me. I owed it to myself and millions of other Americans who are fighting their pain daily. There was no time for sobbing or feeling sorry for myself. I'd done that enough, and nothing good came out of it. So I began making calls and sent over 120 emails to the smartest medical experts at university. And sure enough, emails slowly started pouring in. I wish I could thank all of them because they set me on the right path. Because that's when I realized that most of them had one thing in common. All of them agreed that the safest and most effective way to get directly and organically to the psoas muscle is through the mouth. After 2 months of sleepless nights and tens of gallons of coffees later, we had a formula ready to test. Dr. Mason agreed that I would be the best candidate. I became my own human lab rat, and I was happy about it. I'll break it down for you later on, but long story short, we succeeded. A few weeks in, and I had little to no pain left in my hands and feet. I transformed virtually overnight if you consider that the excruciating pain never left until that very moment. Now, here comes the sickening part. We tried to get our study published. We had imagined that everyone would jump for joy at the opportunity of having their name on a neuropathy solution. But that was not the case. The neuropathic industry is forecast to reach $9.8 billion between 2020 and 2027. Why would they want one simple, powerful remedy on the market that does what a sack of pharmaceutical products can't? At best, if they'll ever release it for use by the general population, it would be obscenely expensive. One day, the dean of the prestigious Boston University we were working with called us in. You know, if you two keep this up, the medical department will lose all its funding, right? Where do you think that money is coming from? It's disgusting to think about it, but all of the big pharma companies are funding, sometimes partially and sometimes fully, a huge number of studies. Do you think they'd want people curing diseases they make money off of until the day we die? Of course not. And for that reason, Dr. Mason and I sat down together and decided that we have a moral obligation to all of you. I was blessed enough to have my normal pre-neuropathy life back. To not share that with you too would be almost criminal. So we took a leap of faith and decided to go rogue. We were going to publish these results with or without the university's backing. And here we are today in this public service announcement, which we hope will reach all the neuropathy sufferers out there. By now, you must be very curious to find out what this ultimate neuropathic pain buster secret formula contains. Why all its ingredients are so extremely powerful that not only do they properly feed your psoas, but they also start the repairing and rejuvenation of your nerve cells while protecting them. And most importantly, how does it work and why does it work so incredibly well? After intensive lab testing, they have proven to be 100% effective only in this formula, specifically calculated and adjusted to give the best possible results against neuropathy and nerve damage disorders. Step 1. Your pain starts to clear as your psoas releases its grip on your nerves. So your pain is driving you crazy and you can't stand it for another moment. I, along with the team of scientists who guided me and triple-checked each assumption I've made, have chosen Passiflora Incarnate and Cordalis Yanhuso as the first aid duo that can quickly lower the pain levels. Cordalis has been used for thousands of years in the traditional Chinese medicine to nourish the blood and relieve discomfort. All that nutrient-filled blood will go straight to your psoas, and this will make it release its grip on your nerves. Step 2, your nerve networks are strengthening and becoming indestructible. And this is the reason I knew I had to have California poppy seed. This little seed makes your nervous endings strong and toned up. After months or years of pain and abuse, they need a little pick-me-up. You see, the tensed-up psoas put them in so much distress that they may have become frayed and weakened. But California poppy seed is here to stick together the nervous ending bonds and have them look and feel brand new. Step 3, your psoas stays properly fed. We added prickly pear because it is rich in immune-boosting vitamin C and B, along with muscle-building calcium. But what really makes this ingredient shine is its ability to quickly relax painful nerves while empowering your muscles. You see, few people know that prickly pear is actually an incredible source for magnesium, potassium, and iron, which are crucial ingredients in muscle growth and development. By getting them through the prickly pear instead of their synthetic version in some generic supplement you may have, you can be sure that you will get the most bioavailable and highly absorbable form. But then, how can I absolutely make sure that the deepest muscle in our bodies stay healthy no matter what? Step 4, your muscles stay relaxed while your blood sugar improves. As a type 2 diabetic, I wanted to cross this off the neuropathy causes list, and that's why we've added marshmallow root. It contains a soothing secretion known as mucilage, which is thought to give the plant its healing properties. By regulating the release of glucose and insulin in the body, marshmallow root is able to protect people with type 2 diabetes from spikes and drops in blood sugar and is highly effective in preventing the disease. Marshmallow root is also a demulcent, meaning that it forms a soothing and protective film over your tensed-up psoas and relaxes it and the nerves in your entire body, offering a much-needed quick pain relief. Getting these ingredients, however, proved harder than we imagined. So I searched the whole world through my scientific connections and contacted only certified producers and verified suppliers, making sure that for our recipe, we used only top quality ingredients with 100% healing properties. It was very difficult and exhausting, and there were times when I was so tired that I even threw up. But in the end, there it was. My hands were shaking as I was finally holding the pills that would end my neuropathy and bring my life and dignity back. If this tiny natural pill was the solution to nerve pain, it would be a miracle, especially because it was so simple. Anyone could take it regardless of the severity of their suffering. It didn't require any costly doctor's appointments or trying any other therapies. It protects you from the incredibly debilitating pain once and for all. It keeps your blood sugar in check. Now, I promised I will share with you my results. After the first pill, I didn't feel a thing. Well, maybe hope, which was still something I thought I'd lost forever. But in the following days, something changed, even though I couldn't tell exactly what. And a few days later, my heart almost stood still because I woke up after a full 9 hours of sleep, absolutely pain-free. I hadn't even realized it until I got out of bed, took my cane, and went to the bathroom. But when I came back to the bedroom, I walked without the cane. I was in absolute shock. Seeing my progress, I gathered a list of 20 people I knew who suffered from various levels of neuropathic pain and asked them to discreetly test out our nerve repair formula. Every single person accepted immediately, especially because no one needed to leave their house, as we personally delivered them the pills. They each received a weekly report form to follow their progress. I was prepared to wait at least a week for the initial reports to come back. But what happened next was amazing. Even after a few days, I was getting calls from everyone in the study claiming their pain was less intense. They couldn't believe it. And so I encouraged them to stick with taking their pills and continue charting their progress. Being one of the people who had a very bad experience with neuropathy and being one of the only volunteers who wanted to hack off his own leg to make the pain stop, I had doubled down on the daily dose to heighten the experiment. I was even more shocked at how quickly my pain subsided. In the following weeks, I was sleeping like a baby. No more nightmarish screams waking me up from my sleep, no more cramps, no more night pains. Even during the day, especially if I had to stand a lot, I would get some mild pain, which was still child's play for me. And soon enough, all of my neuropathic symptoms had disappeared. Not only that, but I felt more alert and aware of my environment because my brain had turned off the emergency state. I was now able to hear and focus on what other people were saying. Even though my pain was gone, I kept taking the pills just to see what would happen. My bones and muscles were beginning to feel like they did when I was 17 on the track team. I also achieved a complete state of relaxation and no more depression, no more anxiety. And it wasn't just me. When I went to collect the reports from the other subjects in my initial study, the results I saw were astounding. After months of separation, I was even able to conquer my wife and get her to see that I was the man she had fallen in love with. And slowly but surely, she walked back into my life. It's silly to think that by solving the problem of one muscle in my body, I gained back my dignity and masculinity. I couldn't keep this life-saving treatment all to myself. We decided to produce the supplement and make it available for everybody who's tormented by neuropathy. We called it Neurogen Pro. Now that you know the entire story, you're probably asking two questions. How can I get my hands on this amazing supplement? And two, when and in what quantity should I take it? Well, to answer question one is a little bit tricky. The truth is that getting the right ingredients to make this powerful anti-neuropathy pill is difficult. 97% of the natural ingredients on the market are either fake or filled with pesticides. Also, the people who have already tested our product and achieved what no other pill on the market could have given them keep asking us for more bottles for themselves, for their friends and families, or just to stock up in case the pain came back. Plus, there are folks who don't have neuropathy, but who've seen a parent or a grandparent struggle with it and don't want to end up like them, emptying our stocks in just a matter of days. Moreover, Neurogen Pro is carefully produced only in small batches that take up to 3 months to deliver. This process is essential to assure that the quality of the product is 100% effective. And don't forget about Big Pharma, who are already hunting us like mad for ruining their profits that come from innocent people who are desperate to get a minute of relief. But since you've stuck with me until the very end of my story, in the next few minutes, you'll find out how to get your hands on a brand new bottle of supplements as part of our awareness campaign. As for how you should take Neurogen Pro supplement, the answer is easy. Take 2 supplements on a daily basis for at least 30 days. There's no doubt in my mind that you will be pain-free in very little time. Maybe you want to significantly decrease your risk of psoas tension, in which case it could take it at least 75 days to clear the deterioration caused by months or years of frayed up nerves, which means 3 bottles of Neurogen Pro. However, there's no way to make these results permanent unless your blood sugar is also stable enough to reach the psoas. In that case, and this is a very popular choice among the people who contact us, we recommend the 6-month therapy with Neurogen Pro, as the blood sugar levels take a while to lock into healthy levels for good. From behind the screen, I cannot estimate exactly how smothered your nerves are or how tense your psoas is at this point. This depends on many factors, such as how old your neuropathy is, your medical history, your overall state of health, and lifestyle choices, etc. So, as a rule of thumb, after seeing the positive results of more than 47,896 people suffering chronic neuropathic pain, we recommend taking at the very least 3 bottles, 6 bottles or more to be completely safe for a period of 90 days. This should be enough to completely banish and shield yourself of stress, tension, and pain. It's a fact since many people have confirmed the results with such dramatic success. People are getting their lives in peace of mind back as we speak, using a completely pure supplement. And all it takes is just 2 natural pills a day. So knowing all of this, it's obvious why Neurogen Pro dominates any other option to fixing neuropathy. Nothing else out there proved to work. You could go to a doctor who will torture you with tons of useless tests or quickly prescribe you expensive addictive medicine that do nothing for you, then frustrate you even further. Medicine is unproven to stop neuropathy because it's not designed to dive deep enough to address the tension in the deepest muscle of your body, the psoas. Or maybe he'll talk you into even more pricking and prodding and convince you to get nerve biopsies, which prove nothing at all since your nerves are not sick. They're just stressed out. Next, your doctor might try prescribing sleeping pills to get you to put in at least 3 hours of uninterrupted sleep. But those methods can't get to the root of the problem. They're just addictive chemicals that turn you into a zombie. Continuing to take them, you won't be able to sleep without having a fix before bed. You will feel like a common drug addict and have the behavioral patterns of one in no time. There are alternative remedies like fake herbal extracts and acupuncture, even meditation to calm down the extreme stress, which maybe doesn't hurt, but surely is not strong enough to soothe and feed the psoas. All of these are a waste of time, energy, and money, and you know it. They won't get you well in a million years. Unlike Neurogen Pro, they can get the job done in just a couple short weeks while keeping you safe from stress-induced psoas tightening. You can understand why I initially wanted to set the value for Neurogen Pro at $99 a bottle. And if you see this from my point of view, I'm sure you can understand why. All the ingredients used are natural, some of them quite rare and hard to obtain. Plus, this special formula is designed for the root cause of neuropathy, which is a life-altering disease that pushed many as far as suicide. Also, add on the cost of seeing a specialist in your area, including the diagnoses he'll make you pay for and the drugs he's going to prescribe to you. Well, given all of this, $99 a bottle should seem like a total steal. But like I mentioned already, Neurogen Pro is not about us making a profit. Sure, it would be nice to get paid for my work and efforts, but if I wanted money, I could accept Big Pharma's proposal right now, close this page, and get myself a bank account 10 times fatter than a jackpot winner's to hold my tongue. But I don't want their filthy money. All I want is to help you and people like you get truly better. That's what my story and mission meant from the start. I wish these miraculous pills existed before I took a handsaw to my leg like a lunatic and traumatized my entire family for life. But the past can't be changed. And what matters now is that after receiving emails from people who can't afford Neurogen Pro, we knew we had to find a way so everyone could afford it. Which is why there's no chance I could consider charging you $99 for this. And because you're watching this presentation, you will benefit from a discount from our awareness campaign. If you act today through this website and make the life-changing decision of investing in this extraordinary anti-neuropathic pain weapon, you can get your first order for only $69 a bottle. But you know what? I'm going to make the deal even sweeter because I know how hard it is to live imprisoned by pain 24/7 for years and years. I've set up a discounted package system of 6 bottles of Neurogen Pro for you for only $49 a bottle, for a total of $294, which is being offered today only for as long as supplies last. You also get free shipping on us. Once we run out of bottles, the add to cart buttons will not be active anymore until we make another batch again, which takes around 2 to 3 months at least. Click the 6-bottle package or any other package that you want below to secure your order. Consider this the smallest but most powerful investment that you have ever made for yourself. Yes, 1 bottle of Neurogen Pro might help you sleep better and lessen the pain. 3 bottles might be enough to rapidly feed your psoas, calming it down and help you sleep and relax, removing months and years of painful torture on your nerves. But 6 bottles of Neurogen Pro will also stabilize your blood sugar levels for good, making sure your psoas muscle is always fed and happy so the pain never comes back. Despite your age and lifestyle, you can walk tall and proud without the shackles of pain. You may be saying, okay, this sounds amazing and I'm interested. How do I get started? Click the yellow button below after choosing the best package for you, and you'll end up on our secure checkout page. Enter your payment details, place the order, and in 7 days from this moment, you'll get Neurogen Pro delivered to your home. But click now. It's the only way to secure your package while supplies last. You have absolutely nothing to risk because you are also covered by our 60 days, 100% healthy or money back guarantee. Start taking this groundbreaking supplement. See for yourself how your pain becomes less and less intense until it eventually vanishes, how your anxiety and mental torture fade away, and how you are finally able to sleep like a baby again, just like our more than 47,896 satisfied customers found out. If you're unsatisfied for any reason, it's rare, but just in case, send us an email in the members area and you'll get a prompt refund. No questions asked. We'll still be friends. You have nothing to risk at all. Like I said, this is a 100% risk-free investment. So click one of the buttons below to get started on your journey of becoming neuropathy free. But please, know you really do have to act now. We are offering Neurogen Pro for just $69, or even cheaper if you're getting our more popular packages, just to get this amazing supplement into more hands. But we are planning on raising the price back to $99 or possibly much higher in the future. Because here's the weird thing. When I tell people that you can easily fight neuropathy in practically no time and for less than a visit to a specialist, well, most people think it's unbelievable, as if there's something fishy going on. It just sounds too cheap, especially if you've been struggling to cure it with your doctor's prescriptions or with who knows what other methods. Our mission is to spread Neurogen Pro to as many people as humanly possible. And the big dream is for nerve pain in your hands and feet to be a thing of the past. But if people find it hard to believe that you can get such incredible results for less than the cost of a visit to a specialist or a meal with your family at a family restaurant, then we'll have to raise the price. Not to mention, we don't know how much longer we'll be able to hide from Big Pharma's threats. But if this website is still up, it means you can still get Neurogen Pro if you act now. Click to make your choice below. Enter your payment details and place the order now. You'll gain access to Neurogen Pro, which will arrive at your doorstep in a matter of days. Listen, when you think about it, you really only have two choices ahead of you right now. Option 1, stop following this presentation and leave this page. Do nothing. Keep going the way you are with that cutting pain ready to strike at any point with an intensity you never thought it capable of. Keep being frustrated that nothing works. Spend hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars on useless therapies and live with the pain for the following months, maybe even years or decades. It's not going to be pleasant. Option 2, risk nothing at all today. Grab Neurogen Pro right now and you'll be surprised at how well it works. So just click below to make your choice. Enter your payment details and place the order now. We'll immediately ship your bottles directly to your home. I hope to hear your success story soon. Still here? That's fine. This presentation covered so much information that you might have some questions. So I'll just take a moment to answer a few questions that are usually asked by clients before choosing Neurogen Pro. Question 1, how does Neurogen Pro work? Can you explain it again? Dr. Mason and I uncovered that neuropathy has absolutely nothing to do with your nerves, nor is it a bacterial infection or virus. It actually goes much deeper. It's a disease triggered by the tightening of a deep muscle wrapped around your spine, the place where all nerves sprout from. The initial tightening happens as a response to the muscle not being fed the proper nutrients because of the diets you've been forced to follow. Now, this supplement will properly feed your psoas muscle with all the nutrients it needs, including sugars, so it heals and releases the grip it has on your nerves. Question 2, why haven't I heard of this natural solution before? Well, as I explained during the presentation, the neuropathy pain medicine drug industry is a growing business for Big Pharma. But what the general public is unaware of is that the drug industry literally spends millions and millions of dollars each year to ensure that academic medicine focuses only on the drugs that make industry money and not on the drugs that will actually help people get better permanently. Question 3, is this supplement for everyone? Yes, it works successfully and safely for people of any age. We made sure that Neurogen Pro is non-invasive and risk-free, helping your tensed-up muscles and painful nerve endings achieve the relief you are craving for months or even years. Question 4, what happens once I click one of the options below? Once you click one of the options below, you'll go to the 100% secure checkout page. You just enter your payment information and place the order. We'll immediately ship your supplement straight to your home. It's that easy. Question 5, how long does it really take to see results? As I've told you, and I'm very proud to repeat this, you'll see the results amazingly fast. As soon as you take one tablet, the battle against neuropathic pain is half won. In just a few short weeks, your pain will naturally become less and less intense until one day you will wake up and realize that it disappeared completely. Question 6, what are the terms of that guarantee that you mentioned? Because I want you to feel completely confident in your investment today, I'm providing you with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Simply click one of the buttons below and try this supplement out yourself for the next 60 days. If you don't get the results I promised within a week, or you're unsatisfied for any reason, simply send an email to us in the members area and I'll give you your money back. No questions asked. It should be clear that if I thought this wasn't going to work, there's no way I would make such an offer. But I do know that this will work. A total of more than 47,896 people have already proven it. Question 7, how long will this supplement be available to the public? Well, I'm not really sure, but history has shown us that Big Pharma is not afraid to spend millions of dollars in legal fees to remove something that threatens its very existence. If you think about it, that would make sense. Wouldn't you spend $1 million in lawyers' costs to protect the hundreds of millions of dollars per year that you could be making? In other words, if you are truly serious about fighting your neuropathy and protecting your nerves, you need to take action immediately. Question 8. How do I get Nervigen Pro? This one is easy. Simply choose your package by clicking on one of the options below and try out the supplement for yourself for 60 days with absolutely no risk. If you are unhappy for any reason, you'll be given a prompt refund. No questions asked. That being said, I am supremely confident you won't be asking for a refund because this supplement has been proven to be effective for anyone suffering from neuropathic, even if they've had it for 6 months or 20 years. So click below, fill in your payment details, and submit your order. I can't wait to hear your success story.